Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and this is Avenue 5, Season 1, Episode 1. I was flying. Sorry I was a little bit late here. I had a little technical difficulties, so I had to take care of that. And actually, I'm going to have to take care of it afterwards, too, because it might be a little bit more. Um, Pen Farm Girl says so. Apparently, there are only 4 episodes, which means this series should be able to make Dennis's 4 episode rule. But I guess we'll find out in another 3 minutes or so. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Stanflow 39. So let me take some cares of business first, and then we'll get into it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to know when I'm be on again next, you can hit the bell down below there. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to the suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule there. It's also up on my Facebook page. And speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group chat where you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Patreon page, but no tier set up as of yet. That will happen soon. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So there we go. Interesting show, interesting first show. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go. And I know it's from the creator of Veep, who created this show. And it's kind of weird a little bit, we've got a future, it's obviously in the future where we've got people that are going around an 8-week trip around Saturn, and they're using, of course, the planets to slingshot themselves around, or the moons to slingshot themselves around. They're using gravity assist, essentially. Few things we did find out in the episode was that the moon's been turned into a jail. Google has folded and I guess created kind of it folded fairly spectacularly, so much so that it was a big a big disaster, a big financial disaster. And I agree with you, Penn. It did end a bit weirdly. It just cut off where where you think they would have just had one last line, but no, they didn't. And the comedy is a bit weird too. I mean, yeah, I'm liking it so far as well, Penn. It's just, kind of thrusting you into this. I know it's only a half an hour, so it's only half-hour episodes. And if they're only going to do 4 episodes, that's kind of weird that they're just doing it, 2 hours, basically a 2-hour movie, if you will. Josh Gad, I've never liked, and he plays an asshole in this, so that's perfectly well with me. And he fits in with how I view him, so that's fine. Hugh Laurie is actually pretty good as the non-captain who is there, and I'm kind of liking. Now I can't remember her name. Uh, the engineer, Bobby, was it? Billy. There we go, Billy. So Billy, the engineer, even though we haven't seen a lot of her as well, so far. And yeah, Lenora Cricklow, she plays Billy. And I'm actually really liking the guy from Silicon Valley, who makes me laugh a lot. And that's Matt. The character's name is Matt, but it's played by Zach Woods. And he's still playing the same kind of character, but I kind of like what he's doing with this, the whole nihilist ideal. And this guy is supposed to be the person who interacts with the patrons, the customers, and stuff like that. But he said he's a nihilist, and you get a lot of little character things within the half hour. So I mean, it is fairly well done. And also that special effects of everyone getting thrown up against one side of the ship was actually fairly well done as well. She shows up a lot in genre and small roles, other than her big one in Being Human. She was in Being Human. Oh, that's right. That's right. She wasn't Being Human. That's where I know her from. Yeah. He's not really a morale officer, as he said, he was just trying to get people, conditioner and, take care he's basically a concierge is what he is. That's what he plays. He plays a concierge. Yeah. So, um, yeah, it was an interesting episode, it really was. We'll see where it goes. I also liked Ethan Phillips in this too, as the astronaut, the only real astronaut that's on board, and, the Canadian astronaut, the first Canadian on Mars too, which I thought was kinda funny. But yeah, it's a very interesting take on this one. I don't know where it's gonna go. We're along for the ride, and I did love some of the stuff in there, like, the real captain of the ship, Joe, who was the engineer, ends up getting killed, with the, gravity shift. He gets a screwdriver through the heart, and they bring his body back on board, and he goes, "Are you sure they're dead?" The captain's like, Are you sure he's dead? I mean, there's no blood." And, Billy's trying to tell him, "Well, yeah, blood freezes in space. When he thaws out, and as soon as she says when he thaws out, that's when blood starts squirting out of the hole." And just like, I mean, fountain of blood out of out of the hole. And I just started laughing. I mean, that was actually pretty good. It was disgusting, but at the same time, pretty funny. You knew where it was going. You knew it was coming, and yet still, it was very Monty Python esque in that point where you had that blood kind of splurt out there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Ethan Phillips may add a lot. We'll see. Yeah. Um, so yeah, a good first episode to start off with. Again, they just kind of throw you into it. They don't tell you anything about this world that you're in, but you can kind of already guess where you're at. It's kind of like Elon Musk has thrown together, or like a really stupid version of Elon Musk has thrown together a ship for tourists, essentially, and then out in space, and shit goes wrong because, of course, he hasn't thought everything through. And the other thing I like too, the science part of it, where you have 5,000 people that get thrown up against the ship because their gravity, something goes wrong with their gravity, which of course we know is going to add to some other hijinks as it goes on later on in the season here. But it throws them off course only 0.021 degrees, which is enough to send them off of an 8-week course to a 3-year course. So, yeah. Hey, David. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of interesting, and I know that I read an article actually that the creator of the series talked about that he wanted to see more science in it. He actually looked into the science of it. Yeah, yeah. So good stuff, and we'll see what happens with the next episode. You know. And, I'm gonna try and make it earlier next time too. I didn't realize it was only a half-hour episode. I was kind of hedging my bets on that. There was nothing out there that said it was an hour-long episode or a half-hour-long episode or anything like that. So that's why I shot it for 8:15 instead of, 7:30 like I should have. Which is what I'll do. I'll do, like, 7:45 next time so I actually get a chance to watch it, put my thoughts together, and do it that way. So so David, I actually just kind of went over everything already. This will be a video. You can come back in and you can take a look at it that way. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Pen. I want to, I know it's late for you guys on the East Coast. It's a 10 p.m. start time for you guys, and ends up getting later. I have tomorrow off because it's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday tomorrow. So it doesn't make any difference for me. Plus, I'm on the West Coast, so it's early for me anyway, and it's easy for me to do that. And hopefully everyone's doing okay with my stream here, because I actually just upgraded my internet a bit more, and it is a little faster, but not like a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the other thing I did like too is the whole thing with the accent. So Hugh Laurie's character was using an American accent, and he really is actually British, and he slips into the British accent, and they're like, "What the fuck? What were you just talking?" And I guess in the future, uh, Australians are bad guys now. I don't know. You know, they there was a couple things we don't know how far in the future it is and what's gone wrong and what like they said, the moon has turned into a jail. Google folded, and yeah, all kinds of stuff. That's kind of weird. So, yeah, not bad stuff. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, I know this is going to be a short one. I didn't know it was going to be this short, but yeah, it's going to be a short one. So I'm still struggling to get through Dracula. Yeah, you get here at the end exactly. Apple Crow. I didn't know it was going to be this short, but it is that short. There really isn't that much to cover on this. That's what I don't like about half-hour long episodes. Is half-hour long episodes don't give you much to talk about. They really don't. So, yeah. Um, what else? So what do I have tomorrow? Tomorrow is it worth my time? And it's Dracula, the BBC Dracula. That's what I'm trying to work my way through now at this point. Tuesday is going to be the season 2 premiere of Project Blue Book. Let's see what else. Wednesday and Thursday I'm off. Friday is Harley Quinn. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about and talk about it. And Sunday, of course, we come back around again to Avenue 5, episode 2. So there we go. Apple Crow says, "You'll be happy to know, Dennis, I'm halfway through season 1 of Blue Book." Huh. What do you think of it so far, Apple Crow? Are you liking it or not? That's what maybe you'll just have to do half of Dracula. I'm going through it. There's some stylistic choices I wouldn't have made, and there's really some story choices. I'll get into it in tomorrow when I start talking about it. There's yeah, there's some shit that needed to be done on that show that, and I think they just kind of gave Moffat free reign on that, and they really shouldn't have. Applecrow says, "I like it, but the one thing I don't like is that it seems directed at people who believe this rather than treating it as fiction." Um, True. It's more done as sci-fi, but, I look at it this way, it's all fiction as it is. It's not, the History Channel, that's the way they did Vikings. Vikings is not an actual account of what happened. They're using historical figures in there in a fictional, setting, and I think they're doing the same thing with Project Blue Book. They're just kinda running with it now at this point, and I'm okay with it. I don't treat it as gospel. Yeah. So, I'm alright with that. That's like the movie Tombstone. I mean, the old one with Kurt Russell. Uh, Come on. I mean, they took a lot of liberties with that one, and that's an entertaining movie, and it's based on historical events. Yeah, and that's what it is. I look at it as entertainment. That's why I cover it. I look at it as sci-fi. I do not look at it as historically accurate. I do not look at it as a historical record or anything like that either. Well, some things. I mean, timelines, yes, but what happened, who knows? So, yeah. So, with that said, I'm probably gonna let you guys go for the night since it is late for you guys out in the East Coast. Not for me, because I'm gonna go and watch Godzilla King of the Monsters. 'Cause I just saw that's on HBO and I haven't watched it yet. And I was like, sure, why not? I've been waiting for it to come out on cable. Quite honestly, I just didn't want to spend the money for it. I've been hearing bad things. What time tomorrow? That's a good question. I think I'm gonna keep it at 6 PM. I'm gonna keep it at 6 PM, Pen. I think that will be fine. Even though I'm off, I'm gonna keep it at 6 PM. Yeah. It's the new one, David. It's the what is it? The one that came out with Millie Bobby Brown, the last one that just came out. Yeah. So, with that said, if you like what you see here, will we get a worth? Is it worth my time on Godzilla? Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. It's so far gone on that one. I don't know. Uh, I am so right now on HBO. I had heard about the Black Lady sketch comedy. That's what it's called on there. And, I heard that it actually turns into sci-fi at the end of the first episode, and it really does. It really does turn into it's a sci-fi series, set within it's a sketch comedy set within a sci-fi series. It's kind of hard to describe. You have to watch the first episode, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. And, there's an overall story that kind of travels through all the episodes. And, I'm fairly interested more in that, to tell you the truth, than I have been in Dracula. And I had forgotten that was on, and I saw it up there, and I was like, "Oh, I'll put on the first episode." Then I went into the second episode. Now I'm getting ready to go into the third episode. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, stick through to the very end. You have to stick through to the very end, and then you're like, "Holy shit." And then it, starts off again, and it carries over into the second episode and into the third and so on and so forth. Even though it is a comedy, it's, interesting. Yeah. Things you learn when you just, you're bored and you decide to try something new. I'm not gonna even touch that. I know Movie Fanobi will in the comments section at some point in time because that's who he is. So, with that said, like, share, and subscribe. Take a look at the schedule up on suspendedfanimation.com. Also, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, got all of those going on too. Um, have you watched any of Room 104? I don't know what that is, Joker. Never heard of it. So, sorry. Don't know. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks everyone who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And I will see you tomorrow for Is It Worth My Time? BBC's Dracula. Um, so there we go. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself adrift at space without a captain, which isn't a good thing. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your night.